And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lowdown podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, senior Lakers insider for Clutch Points. More on that here in a second. And today on the show, we're going to be talking about that personal news just really quickly, and then we'll talk about the Lakers unveiling their new city uniforms and court officially. We'll kind of go over the latest looks at that. Anthony Davis at the power forward is apparently something that JJ Redick likes as a concept. So we'll kind of discuss some of what that would mean. And then because I've been promising it now for the last few days, normally our mailbag episode is on Sunday night and then runs Monday morning so that you get that Monday morning mailbag alliteration. Normally we do it that way, but we had a game on Sunday, and then Harrison could only do the show yesterday. So we went ahead and moved the mailbag to today. And that means I'll be diving into the iTunes mailbag. That means I will be diving into the Discord mailbag, which, if you guys are interested in that link, I can put that in the comments as well. Obviously be taking questions here from the live audience too. And we're going to try to get out of here before too deep into the Dodgers playoff game, because I will be a wreck for said Dodgers playoff game. So let's go ahead and dive on in by first talking about clutch points. So as you guys know, last year I started doing a lot more news breaking, right? It had technically started a little while prior to those of you who've been listening to the show for a while. The longer you do this, the more relationships that you have in doing it. And essentially what I was able to do was leverage and parlay those relationships into having a good grasp on situations. And then once I felt confident enough in those sources and in my ability to, go through all of the information that you have to go through to be able to parse it and then relay it to you guys. Once I started feeling more confident about that, Lakers Daily reached out last year and asked me about doing that exclusively for them in written form. Obviously, I jumped at the opportunity. It was this brand new thing. It was this exciting new thing. And it would, I figure, help grow the show too. And I believe it has. And so fast forward now to, all the way through this, the rest of last season and then through this summer. And Clutch Points reached out and asked about my contract situation with Lakers Daily, and my interest level in either kind of moving that content over to Clutch Points, my interest in moving all of my content over to Clutch Points. We wound up landing on just the written stuff with some audio video stuff as well. Again, more on that in a second. And given the bigger platform, the bigger challenge, I jumped again at that opportunity. Now, it hasn't all been roses, right? My interest in doing this and my the stories that I have broken to this point, and frankly, my unwavering disinterest in doing favors has cost me some relationships, most notably here on the show with Aaron. I still see people asking about that. I guess he's doing other shows. The Lakers don't care if he does other shows. They don't want him doing this one. So that's unfortunately one drawback to all of this stuff. But it has also opened doors for not just this show, but people who appear on this show. And hopefully we'll have more on that information, or more information on that front here relatively soon. But with Clutch Points, I'm going to be writing a lot more. I'll be writing upwards of 15 or so articles a month for clutch points compared to the 3 or so that I was doing for Lakers Daily. They aren't all going to be like the deep dives that there'll be a mix and a match of things that are going on with the Lakers. Sometimes you just have to get information out there, and we'll have some articles like that. And then sometimes you'll have a little bit more time to kind of parse through some stuff and go get a little bit more in depth on stuff. And I'll have some of that too. So, that'll be a lot of work there for clutch points. And obviously one thing that I'm looking forward to a lot is their social teams, right? They make those incredible graphics. They just go about sports in a fun way that I think really kind of mixes well with how I do it. So they're going to be doing some clipping for the show. They'll be putting clips of the show, and they'll be aggregating stuff from this show on their social networks. I will be able to embed the show in my writing for clutch points, something that I haven't been able to do since I was at Silver Screen, and something that really helps grow the show as well. And yeah, it's a win all around here. Nothing but the best things to say about Lakers Daily. Wish them nothing but the best moving forward. It's just that clutch points provided this, a few opportunities that I just wasn't able to pass up on. As far as this show, doesn't change anything. Still going to be doing it the same old way. Still going to be right here to talk with you guys. And frankly, this show is always going to take kind of priority. It is my baby. It is an RSS feed that I own. It is a thing that I have built now twice over. If you include the first time I built it back at Vox, and then now I have rebuilt it without the help of Vox. So I love doing this. I love this community, and I will never, ever, ever go away from it. And then, in terms of the one thing that will change here is probably Substack, because I don't know how much time I will have to dedicate to it. All of my writing, my Lakers writing, is probably going to be at clutch points. So with all of that in mind, I'm probably going to remove the paywall from Substack, and anything that I write there will be for free. And if you want to continue to support these endeavors through donations to Substack, I'll leave that open as an option. But in terms of paywalled paywalled deadline information and stuff like that, I'm actually really happy to be able to take that stuff out from behind the paywall to be able to offer it to everybody. So I'll be, working on all of the Substack execution stuff here before we get to the season. So again, really excited about all this. I'm just absolutely thrilled to get started with clutch points. Just 1,000,000% grateful to Lakers Daily for giving me the shot, and then for clutch points to follow through on yet another bigger shot. Just nothing but good news here. And I'm going to go ahead and segue awkwardly back to the stuff that y'all are here for in the first place. So the Lakers unveiled their city uniforms, their city court. And they did so. They did email me personally on that one. I did get that email. I'm going to put a couple of these pictures here in front of you guys to see it. This is the back of LeBron's jersey and what it would look like. So, I mean, it looks better than the initial leaks, right? But you kind of expect that, because the Lakers are going to do everything they can to make them look better. Here's Anthony Davis looking just nothing but thrilled to be able to play in those uniforms. I'm still not really a fan. I'm going to be honest. Here's another look at the front of it. And the BBGO logo, which I feel like got bigger. I feel like the BBGO logo got a lot bigger here, and absolutely dwarfs the Lakers honoring Jerry West up there in the top right corner. Here's D'Angelo Russell cheesing in it. Again, it looks, I will say, it does look a lot better than the first time that we got to look at it. It still doesn't really do it for me. And then finally, here is the court that they will be playing on this year. One thing to notice here on this court is there's no half court line. So I feel like that will be something that the league forces the Lakers to add to the court. Maybe it'll be in white so that you can't quite, it won't stand out from like as far zoomed out as this is here. I don't know why the Lakers decided to add black to their color, the colors that they identify with. I thought forum blue and gold were fine for me. Now you have like banana yellow and purple and black, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me being old. Maybe it's just me, being me. But these just don't really do it for me. And there was all kinds of explanation as to what all of this stuff means and why it should resonate with the city or why it should kind of stand for the city. It just doesn't really do any of that for me personally. But to those who do like it, cool. Like whatever you want to like, fan however you want to fan. But for what I'm looking for from the Lakers and what I, kind of want from Lakers uniforms and jerseys and courts and stuff like that. The court is a little bit better. I will say that. Like the court, I like a lot more than the jerseys. And I do think that the jerseys will look a lot better on the court than they would have on just like a traditional court. But yeah, I just stick with the originals. The originals are so cool, and the original colors were so cool. I miss them a lot. All right, let's go to what JJ Redick had to say about Anthony Davis playing at power forward and some of the thoughts on that. Before we even get to that, I want to clear something up with some reporting that I did about how kind of the coaching staff is operating. So here's what I said the other day to Raj. I think it was a Sunday night that Raj and I talked about this, and I explained kind of how the coaching staff works. So from what I have heard to this point, this is Greg St. Jean, who is designing and implementing the offense. Essentially, like according to the people I've spoken to, it seems as if like, JJ is operating as kind of the CEO and he's delegating everything. And he is more focused on communication with players, right? He's really focused on developing and maintaining relationships. That's his kind of top priority, it seems like right now. And, you have Bob Byer on the defense. He's kind of implementing and designing the defense. And you have Greg St. Jean handling the offensive duties. And then you have the two former head coaches, Scotty Brooks and Nate McMillan, just kind of like coaching everything, handling, just kind of like guiding JJ through the process of learning what it takes to be a head coach. That's all right. So, quick summary again. You have Greg St. Jean handling the offense. You have Bob Byer, from what I'm told. Now, there is a little bit of, conflicting reporting here. Apparently, Tim says that Nate McMillan has been handling the defense or that he is like the defensive coordinator. I think what you might be like where there might be kind of, an issue in translation here is like I do think like Scotty Brooks eventually is going to handle the offense and that Nate McMillan eventually is going to handle the defense. But through training camp so far, you've had Greg St. Jean handling the offense, and through training camp so far, you've had Bob Byer handling the defense. And we'll see how those roles evolve over the course of the year and over the course of their time with the Lakers. The number one question that I got after I kind of explained that on the show and then put that clip on my social media channels was how different is this from other coaching situations? And there are a variety of coaching situations out there. I would say that this is a little unique in the amount of delegation that JJ Redick has done. I'm about to play a clip that I was sent by a league source who was at the game the other night. and noticed something going on there with JJ Redick and his coaching staff heading into a timeout that is like truly unique to the Lakers. Um, but I think this is a unique situation, is the thing. JJ Redick is a first-time coach. He is going to be everything that he learns about coaching is going to start this year, and while he's coaching, and I think that leads to some extra delegation, because while other coaches would be just focused on coaching, he is more focused on learning. And I also think that like he really kind of values those interpersonal relationships with his players, and that has been a very key focus for him. But yeah, I had a source send me this the other night. He was at the game. He zoomed in on um, the jumbotron in the middle, while the Lakers were heading into a timeout, and explained to me why this was a little weird for him to see in the way that Greg St. Jean was drawing up a play and kind of explaining it to JJ before JJ would go and you know explain the play to the players. So here's the clip. So you kind of see it here. You have Greg St. Jean is the guy on the actual clipboard there. He's drawing up the play. You have JJ watching him draw up the play, and asking questions about how this is all coming together. Greg St. Jean is explaining to him the play. You have Nate McMillan walking back to the huddle to get guys ready and focused for whenever JJ gets there. And then here, nearing the end of the clip, you'll see, St. Jean hands JJ the clipboard, and JJ goes down to sit down and explain the play to the guys. And the reason that this stuck out is that, like, at some point, JJ is going to have to draw up his own play, something that, he had the opportunity to coach in Summer League, passed on that opportunity, and that's time that he could have spent on the drawing board. It does matter a little bit, I do believe, to NBA players that their coach draws up the plays in those late game situations. It's an amount of trust about the basketball and about the understanding of basketball for JJ to be able to do that. Again, I'm not at all saying that this is the end of the world or anything like that. This is something that JJ could learn during training camp and be ready to go by the end of the season with, if he is a quick learner. But like when I talked about why the Summer League was a missed opportunity for JJ, this is one of the ways that it was a missed opportunity, because he's literally learning a play from Greg St. Jean. He's now going to play telephone to his players in the huddle, and then those guys are going to go out there and execute the play. And by adding those extra couple steps there's some potential miscommunication. And again, it's just like an amount of trust that guys have with their head coaches when they draw up the play. Coaches don't draw up every single play. You will have some situations where an assistant coach will draw up a play or whatever. But seeing as JJ is a first-time coach, you would like him to try this stuff out before you get to the actual games that count. And we'll see over the next few games if this is a trend that continues. But anyway, that was just kind of a few notes on the response to my reporting on JJ Redick and the way that he has delegated out tasks to the rest of his coaching staff. And, we'll see how that kind of evolves over the course of training camp and then over the course of the season. But in a second, we'll go right back to Anthony Davis potentially playing power forward. So JJ Redick was asked about some of what he liked from the team and the lineups and stuff like that. He did clarify, this is from Jovan Buha. JJ Redick clarifies he was being sarcastic when he said he wants the Lakers taking 53s per game. He said the goal is to take 5 or 6 more per game compared to last season. Last season, the Lakers took they took the 28th most threes of anybody in the league, of any of the teams in the league. And if you just add, say, 6 to that total, it jumps them up to 8th. And that's just margin building or margin shrinking, actually, because the Lakers were playing at a margin deficiency last season because of how few threes they were taking. They're hoping to kind of cut into that margin a little bit this year. Let's see. There was, oh, man, it didn't. I can't find the actual quote here, but JJ was asked about, which lineups and which looks he liked from the Lakers. And he said that one of the looks that he liked was when they were switching 1 through 4. Anthony Davis was playing the 4 and Jackson Hayes was playing the 5. And it, I don't know if it's because I'm predisposed to, recognize that Anthony Davis wants to play less center always, but heading into any given season. And I messaged Harrison because one of my bingo things, let's see if I have, yeah, I do. One of my bingo points was that, center X is really the top one. Center X is really impressing. He just might start. The reason I included that one is because Anthony Davis eventually is going to want to play a little bit less center. So when you have JJ kind of hyping up one of the lineups that has Anthony Davis at power forward, it kind of starts that ball rolling in my head of like, oh, okay, well, we'll see where this might be heading. And I think if Christian Wood was available, this would be something that we might even see before heading into the season. JJ already announced the starters that he has locked in. We'll see if that winds up sticky, if he sticks with them all the way through training camp and into the season. I think he will. But if Wood was healthy and you had an extra big there, and you would have Jackson able to come off of the bench for AD or whatever, and you would rely a little bit less on just 2 bigs in particular, I think there would be a chance. I am looking off to the side. Shohei just struck out. I'm on a bad pitch too. That's like that back foot slider that the Dodgers always swing over the top of in the postseason. Just always. Top of the order needs to be better for the Dodgers. Like, you have roughly $1 zillion invested into Shohei, Mookie, and Freeman, and they have not played up to their levels. Anyway, but if Wood was available, I think you could see a situation here where Wood starts 80s at the 4, LeBron's at the 3, and then you have D'Lo and Austin as your backcourt. And then, you'd have Jackson Hayes as that like breaking place in case of break glass in case of emergency type of big as your third center. As it stands, though, with Wood now being out for the chunk of the beginning of the season, the you will have less of a safety net because you can't have Jackson Hayes get into foul trouble or let alone get hurt or anything like that. And then now only have AD and like Castleton and Koko as your bigs. As far as Koko goes, I do have a question on him in a little bit, so I'll save it for then. Super weird that we aren't getting any update on his situation. But yeah, Anthony Davis at the 4. I'm a little bit more open to it heading into this season than I have been in years past. Because, I do think it unlocks AD as that, pterodactyl weak side defender. And it does make some sense for what the Lakers are need from him. And like, it just expands what he's able to do defensively. Whereas like last year under him, did he hit it? Did he get it out? Come on, get out. Ha ha, get out. Let's go. Let's go. That is a homer. Hell yeah. Woo. I don't know what they're looking at, but this one, Profar, I saw the ball drop, so Profar didn't catch that one. Dodgers lead 1-0. Woo! All right, let's go. Man, baseball just takes it out of me. But yeah, I am more open to Anthony Davis playing the 4 this year. I think it keeps him a little bit fresher, and I I I do think that ratio needs to be heavily in favor of him playing center. I would say that the ratio should be like 85 to 90% of his minutes should be at center, and about 10% of his minutes should be at power forward. But the bigger thing is, in like, even more important than the ratio of minutes that he plays in one place over the other. You need to be able to throw as many different pitches as you can, and this is me copying to be me being wrong, because I wanted AD basically only at center the last few years. Um, it has taken one of the golf clubs out of the Lakers' bag, right? And so I would like to put that 62-degree wedge back into the bag for whenever the situation calls for it. But JJ sounds like he's into it. We know Anthony Davis is into it. I do think we're going to see a lot more of it this year than we've seen in the last couple. All right. So with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and get into some of the questions that I have fielded. These two questions are first going to come from the Lakers Lounge Discord, which I will go ahead and invite people to if you guys want that. So there's that. And then here's where you could find. Whoop. Oh, I'm not finding that. Here's where you can find the Discord there. So the first question here comes from George Santiago, who writes, "Is playing Hayes with AD the best way for AD to be able to play up to touch / not be on drop all the time, or is JJ just making lemonade with the lemons that he has?" No, so there was the GM survey that went out, and they were talking about the most versatile defenders in the NBA, and Anthony Davis didn't get a single mention, didn't get a single vote. He wasn't even listed in others receiving votes, and I think that has a lot to do with him not playing any power forward, and with how Darvin was using him last year, where he was so heavily in drop coverage. I think by putting him at the 4 and allowing him to go up there and switch on to guys in pick and roll situations, or trap guys in pick and roll situations, and just do any number of things in pick and roll situations that isn't just a straight drop. Now, Nate McMillan does, it is also not particularly flexible, as Tim said on the show the other day, defensively with some of this stuff. And I think, we'll see how the Lakers kind of balance that. But yeah, as far as Anthony Davis and the way that you can use him on defense, I do think playing him at the 4 opens up some of those things. But also, I think just as importantly, the personalities out there with is also super important, because when the Lakers had Caruso and KCP and Kuzma and a younger LeBron, you could switch 1 through 5, because 1 through 5 could handle all of their switches. When you have D'Angelo Russell, and when you have Austin Reeves, and when you have Rui defensively, and an older LeBron, it forces Anthony Davis to just focus on cleaning up their messes. And I think a lot more important than where he plays or what the coach wants him to do and all that stuff, what makes Anthony Davis a better defender, we saw it in the Olympics. Anthony Davis was a wrecker of worlds defensively, because he was playing out there with Jason Tatum, and he was playing out there with Drew Holiday, and he was playing out there with a Devin Booker who was focused on playing defense, and a LeBron who could play harder defense for the minutes that he was on the court. Anthony Davis was playing sometimes with Bam, and they were really just devastating other offenses. So, some of this is going to have to be addressed over the course of the season by the type of personnel that Anthony Davis is surrounded by. So this is Andre. LeBron is objectively older. He's 40 years old. Go back and look at LeBron James when the Lakers won the championship and compare him playing defense, during those runs, and even more importantly to the in the regular season, LeBron was able to focus a lot more on defense on like your typical night in the NBA than he can now because he's 40 years old. Like, we don't have to stand so much, so we're ignoring math. But yeah, I'm more focused over the course of the year to see if the Lakers improve the personnel and allow Anthony Davis to go back to being more of a proactive defender rather than the reactive defender he's had to be while he's had to make up for D'Lo and for Austin and for an older LeBron, Andre, and Rui. So we'll kind of see we'll see what that looks like. But I getting back to the actual like the crux of the question, Anthony Davis at 4 just offers you some different things because you have ideally a rim protector behind him who can make up for some of the issues that are taking place out there on the perimeter. But good question, fun question. The next question here is from JT58151, who writes, have you heard much about Koko? Also, if he is cleared to play, would he play any meaningful minutes for us? So I just said this a second ago. Everybody is being extremely tight-lipped about Christian Koko. And the longer that goes and the longer that we don't get an update on this, the more I start to wonder what the hell is actually going on. Great catch there from Edmund. Whew. And, again, part of the problem here is that, like, I personally don't feel like I can trust what the Lakers are telling us about what is going on with various guys' injuries, seeing as they literally didn't disclose off-season surgeries, plural, on Jared Vanderbilt until months after he actually had them. So, like, I don't know what to do with this. And, if they are potentially covering it up, something that, again, they did this summer, if they are covering up some concerns there with Koko being cleared, might have a lot to do with the fact that they waived Blake Hinson before they knew that Koko was going to get cleared, which would be a complete waste of an asset. A small one, sure, but a complete waste of an asset. And the Koko thing is weird. Now, as far as like if and when he gets cleared, what he would do for the Lakers, I think he would be very much a break glass in case of emergency. He would be kind of an investment in the future to see if he can regain some of what he had back when we last saw him in Toronto before the blood clot issues. I think he's probably there at the bottom of the rotation of bigs that the Lakers have. Obviously, you have AD at the top. You have Jackson Hayes next up because he's currently available. And then you have Christian Wood whenever he would be available. And then in terms of guys that the Lakers trust between Castleton and Koko, merely because Castleton is currently available, they trust Castleton more. And then we'll see what it looks like when Koko is actually able to compete with Castleton for those minutes. But I would be pretty surprised if stuff would have to either go really, really well or really, really poorly or some combination of the two, because it would mean that things went really, really well for Christian Koko, but it would also mean that like Jackson Hayes took a giant step backwards or he got hurt or Christian Wood just like wasn't available this year. And then it would mean that like Colin Castleton just isn't an NBA player. That's what it would take for Koko to get an opportunity here. And if he does get that opportunity and he makes good on it, awesome. But this is why the Lakers going into the season, I think like their top priority in terms of personnel is to improve their backup center situation, something that they should have taken care of in the offseason, but didn't because Pelinka. Dakota. No, question here from Dakota. I hope you and Aaron are still friends. You guys had great chemistry, and I always enjoyed listening to you two. No, man, or person, sorry. But I love Aaron like a brother, and like legitimately pissed at the Lakers that they would apply pressure to make it so that he doesn't feel comfortable coming on the show. That sucks. I think it's really stupid from them to do that. But in terms of like me and Aaron, we are still very, very close friends. Wished him happy birthday. His Cal Bears have been one of the most exciting kind of stories in college football this year. I've sent him a couple texts about that. We, you know, my kids call him Uncle Aaron. He cooked us a meal when I was back in California. Aaron and I are still good. We will always be good. He will always be a much, much, much older brother to me. All right, let's go. I think we have one more quick question here. So, Kane Carter, I'm going to leave this one for tomorrow's show. I have a really fun guest coming on. Tomorrow, I'm not going to give it away because I always feel like I'm jinxing it. But what are some D'Lo, Rui, and Vando trades that will help? So tomorrow, I'm going to have a guest to explain to come on and explain some of the trade market, and then explain some of the Lakers trade interests. And then on the back half of the show, I'll throw together some trades for you guys to think about, and I'll make the case for and against them as well. I think I saw another. Okay, Sporadic asks, didn't one of the players mention that JJ drew up a play live in a huddle recently, or am I tripping? I want to say it was D'Lo. He might have. Like, I'm not saying it has never happened. I that clip, like the part of Greg St. Jean, like actually explaining the play to JJ Redick, and I'll play it in the background here while I talk. You can see here you have Greg is writing up this play, and he and JJ are having a back and forth about it, and you can kind of see like Greg winds up kind of turning his shoulders so that JJ could see it. Part of it is like actually executing on writing up the play eventually whenever it happens. They could be talking about what they want coming out of that play as well, and that's a possibility too. It just stuck out to this source of mine who comes from the coaching realm, and this source told me that this is pretty unique to have an assistant coach explaining a play to a head coach so that the head coach could go in there and explain the play to the players. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I am just merely pointing out that it happened. Just like, by the way, like I while we've been recording here, my buddy Ry Cole, saw the clip that I had of how the Lakers are operating under JJ, right? Asking if this is normal, and I'm saying, I normal to a certain extent, yeah, but everything about this situation is unique because JJ Redick is uniquely deficient in the experience as it pertains to experience. So, yeah, as far as like the clip that I showed there, I'm not saying it's good. The source that I spoke to did say it wasn't great if it happens too often, but as it stands right now, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. I just think it happened. I just know it happened because there's video of it, and I wanted to offer you guys up that video so that you could kind of see what was going on there. But yeah, it's way too early for people to jump to conclusions on how I feel about certain things. I understand why people would jump to certain conclusions about how I feel about things, but I promise you, I am not freaking out over the roles that JJ Redick has for Greg St. Jean and for Bob Byer on October 8th. I am freaking out about the Dodgers on October 8th, though, to be absolutely clear. All right, that is going to do it here for this episode of the Lakers Lounge. Again, shouts to Clutch Points. I'm really, really excited to get going with them and get those first articles there uh, under my belt and get this working relationship with Clutch Points in the show. I'm really excited about the first crazy ass graphic that they attribute to me. That'll be really funny as well as somebody who enjoys their graphics. And then I'm just really excited to keep on actually talking about basketball. Like it's nice to talk about basketball. It's nice to talk about Anthony Davis at the 4. It's nice to talk about how many threes the Lakers are shooting and not have to talk so much about Rob Pelinka being bad at his job. So until now, or until the next time you guys hear from me, which is going to be tomorrow, please do hit that subscribe button. Please do hit that like button. Please tell your friends about the show. Tell them that you like it. And then if you have some enemies who are looking for Lakers content, tell them that all of the other stuff is great and that this one just particularly annoys you. And maybe that enemy of yours will check out this show. And until the next time you guys hear from me, though, I'm Anthony Irwin saying, have a great rest of your day. Make somebody else's, and I will talk to you tomorrow.